Welcome to Nerdy Geeky Freaky, the podcast for all you nerds, geeks, and freaks. This is episode 3, the Trilogy. And I'm William.
I'm Danica.
And I am Mike, and unlike most trilogies, this one's gonna be pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah!
Alright, little note. We got your messages. We're gonna keep this one a little bit shorter.
Slim it down.
Slim it down a little bit, exactly. More Danica, too.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Okay, and
Hello
we're gonna
there.
start this off with William.
The nerdy news headlines of January.
Forgive William, he's not good at reading off the teleprompter, unlike Ron Burgundy.
The first 5.
The first 5? Let's start with number 5.
5, you did a new X-Men cast for Days of Apocalypse.
Days of Apocalypse? You mean X-Men Apocalypse?
Days of Apocalypse.
Days of Apocalypse. Okay. He probably doesn't remember names because he can't remember names to save his life. The cast, as announced, is Ty Sheridan from a little indie movie called Mud is going to be playing the new Cyclops, Scott Summers. Alexandra Shipp, a kind of a relative unknown. She was in a made-for-TV movie and a TV show on Nickelodeon. I think it was Nickelodeon. I don't know. She's going to be Storm, the new Storm. No more Halle Berry. And our new Jean Grey is the most famous redhead from Westeros, Sophie Turner, a.k.a. Sansa Stark. She will be our brand new Jean Grey, and hopefully they get her right. So what do you guys think about the casting?
It's going to be hard seeing her not as Sansa Stark for a moment. When she's first playing that, I'm going to think Game of Thrones. Mm-hmm. And then I'm like, oh, okay. As long as she does a good job.
As long as she does a good job, yeah. I hope it's going to be like when we saw the Fantastic Four, Johnny Storm, turn into Captain America. I thought it was terrible, but he pulled it off, and you don't even see Johnny Storm when he's playing Captain America. Hopefully it's just like that with the Stark, when you don't see Game of Thrones when you're looking at her.
I'm just going to have a little hard time. I hope her English accent is pretty good, but those Brits can do our accent like nothing. It's just the opposite. We can hardly do their accent right, except for Danica.
Right. They do it all right.
Except for Danica, but that's because you've practiced. You've practiced for a long time.
I like to practice after Game of Thrones. I repeat what they say.
So,
Winter is coming. That's as much British as I can go. Oh, what were you going to say, Will?
I don't know. It's just taking place in the last movie. It had all the original cast. They're just dimming it down.
No, it's the way they did it. It's like a new trilogy based on the First Class era, where it was the first one was in the 60s, the second one was in the 70s, and this third one, which is going to end out the trilogy or possibly start a new franchise, is going to be in the 80s.
Oh, so it's not in the year whatever Wolverine left off at in the last one?
No, I don't really know what they're going to do.
Because that was like the future. Because he had a hover chair, Professor Xavier. So that was the future that could have been, and they turned it into that. So it's going to be the 80s where they're all young actors. It's not everyone from the originals, which makes sense. I like it, as long as it's fresh faces and stuff.
And I really like the casting of Ty Sheridan because he's been in a couple indie movies, and I saw Mud. He was opposite Matthew McConaughey, pre-Oscar McConaughey, and he was really good in that movie. Like, he held his own against a really top-notch actor, so I'm excited to see what he does with the character of Cyclops.
Didn't they have Jubilee in the 80s?
In the 80s? She's been in and out of that franchise since the beginning. Like, they had her more comic booky character or more cartoony character, like with the glasses and everything.
Yeah, she was a mall rat from the 90s. That was the thing.
And but she was in there for like a little cameo appearance in the first one, and then supposedly in the other 3. And I never. You have to really pay attention to find her. Apparently,
she's a vampire now in the comics. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I read about that when I was reading up on Blade. Okay, number 4. What's number 4?
Number 4 is Jurassic World's theories for the new Jurassic World movie.
Jurassic World theories?
This is Danica's topic. Let's see. What are the theories?
World.
God, that preview looked good. I haven't seen the new one, so I got to see the new one.
Yeah, so you have to see the new one, the Super Bowl spot. But anyway.
The theories going on is from the Super Bowl trailer, we see that the Velociraptors they appear to be trained. Everybody was on Indominus Rex, the D-Rex, as a hybrid. And then until we saw that preview, the trailer, everybody's attention turned to, wait a minute, it looks like the Velociraptors are being trained and then they're running with a bike when he's
Yeah,
taking
I heard a
him
lot of
on
people getting mad about that, saying online, like,
What's that?
saying, you can't train velociraptors. The best comment I've ever heard, the best response I heard about that is like, one, you don't know that.
Exactly.
You've never,
They're
have you
packs.
ever?
They're just like wolves.
Yes.
You can train them.
Yeah.
Especially if you train them from babies.
Yeah, he's got a little cute picture of babies like snuggling up on him and stuff.
The reason why the ones from the original set of movies were so vicious and feral is because they were not trained. They
they're
were meant to
wild.
be like, yeah, they were meant to be like feral creatures. You're supposed to watch them in their natural habitat. But I think they kind of realized, you know what? We reproduced a bunch of dinosaurs and we have like no security measures whatsoever. Let's train a bunch of vicious animals of our own and call them guard dogs. But anyway,
Yeah, exactly.
what
What my theory is on it, that I've been looking up online.
this is theory, right?
Yes, this
not
is
fact.
theory. This is not fact. Well, let's look at the book. And a particular sequence in the book has been brought to light where Dr. Wu and Hammond debate over genetically modifying the dinosaurs. The novel depicts where Dr. Wu wants to provide the public with a more domesticated dinosaurs that aren't as rough or visually shocking. In other words, a petting zoo. So while Hammond's vision was a bit more like adrenaline friendly, he just wanted them as they were. And then so Dr. Wu, now that Hammond's gone, is
he like just training?
Doing what he wants to do.
yeah,
Basically.
he's doing what he wants to do. He wants to genetically modify all these animals, all these dinosaurs, and make them more tameable as well.
Makes sense. I mean, you got from the second one a giant T-Rex eating a bunch of civilians. Bad PR.
Yes.
How they got this park open is beyond me. I mean, like I thought I would figure if this was in the real world, Jurassic World will be like up to their neck in lawsuits for decades.
Yeah, but that's I don't know. They have something that no one else has.
Well, supposedly this one isn't just set 30 years is set 30 years or not 30 years, 15 years after the second one or 10 years. I forget. So
It's
they
only
could've-
set that not like nowadays. I didn't hear about that.
No, it is in present time, and they're using the actual time between the last movie and today.
Yeah, because it was 90s, right?
No, the last movie was in like the early 2000s,
Oh,
I
I'm
think.
thinking of the first one. Yeah,
The third one. I think everyone kind of wants to forget the third one, but they got to kind of reference it a little
the
bit.
ringtone drove me nuts.
The what?
The ringtone that you hear throughout the movie that the dinosaur eats, and you track the Spinosaurus through the ringtone.
Yeah.
Isn't it the Nokia one or something?
It
like
probably. It's, I
Oh
don't know.
yeah, they're
It was
promoting
whatever
that,
popular
the
phone.
Nokia.
Yeah. Oh, what's number 3?
Yeah, so number 3. I heard about it today. Zelda, The Legend of Zelda TV series exclusively to Netflix. I don't know, a lot of people are a fan about it, but the Wall Street Journal reports that.
And Wall Street Journal is reputable.
Yes.
That is not
So
some guy in
I
his
believe them
basement.
already.
That's not some Nintendo nerd in his basement being like, "Oh my god, you know what would be awesome if Zelda was on Netflix."
Yeah, they had a cartoon series from the 90s that was on the Super Mario Super Show, and that was good. It went to DVD, but they've said that Netflix is working closely with the Nintendo developers, which is going to be a live-action series that's going to go straight to Netflix, where Link saves Hyrule and the princess with more details they haven't really gotten. But basically, it's a Legend of Zelda live-action. They don't know who's going to be the cast. I saw someone earlier, but I don't know if it's official.
That was
But-
probably just some fan
Yeah, it's probably just some
casting
fan
type
stuff.
thing. If you were to see William right now, you could tell he's definitely excited for the Zelda movie because
It's
he's kind
very
of Zelda
exciting.
out.
I'm always decked out
Hyrule
in Zelda.
jacket, Zelda belt buckle with the Triforce on top.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
How are they going to do this though? Live action series.
I have a feeling it's going to be like kind of like make it more like Lord of the Rings / Game of Thrones.
They said it's going to be a more like Game of Thrones, but more family friendly. So it's going to have that.
Don't
like, kind
compare it
like
to Game of
effect.
Thrones,
They
then.
did.
You can't throw out Game of Thrones and say family friendly. I'm sorry. That's
yeah,
like
that's kind of.
that's like saying I'm gonna make a porn, but I'm gonna make it family friendly.
Yeah, but
You
I
can't
don't
make
know.
a porn that's family friendly.
I'm gonna kill people, but it's gonna be.
It's gonna be well. I mean, you can get away with killing a bunch of people in a family friendly way. It's just everything else.
Well,
that
they can just, how
compared to
in the game
Game
when
of
you
Thrones.
kill a moblin, they just like turn into a flash of light. stuff like that.
Okay.
It can be very family friendly, done well, but
Quick little theory, because you guys are the bigger Zelda fans. How do you think they're gonna? Do you think they're gonna stay true to the video game, or do you think they're gonna take some liberties certain areas?
I do not think they will. I think they're gonna branch off from it, do their own thing a little bit. But
I think Netflix is doing really well with Marvel shows that they're coming out with soon that sound really good, and other exclusive to Netflix shows. I think Nintendo's going to be really on top of this, the way how Super Mario Brothers, the movie, they just said, do what you want with these characters, and it came out okay for fans of that age, but they talked about never again.
I was a child when that movie came out, so I loved it.
It was good,
Yeah.
but it literally, if you don't call them Mario and Luigi, it's a different movie. But
What is
I
it?
think they're
Mario,
gonna have,
Mario,
Mario.
Luigi Mario.
But I think it's going to be, they're going to have a close look. The Ajimoto is going to be closely on this. Like, you can't have, you have to look like this. He has to look like this. Maybe even some stuff that's going to talk about the new game that's going to come out.
Well, I'm kind of hoping if they do it, they somehow manage to make it live in a way where not practical effects, but maybe try to. I think it's going to be probably practical because they probably don't have the. They're probably not going to have the budget to do motion capture. Like,
Netflix got money.
I don't know, but
And Nintendo?
in a series like this, where I mean, yeah, it's going to have a lot of fan appreciation, but I don't think they're going to be able to bust out the like $5 million budget for
no.
a season. That for one
Yeah.
episode, probably that would be for motion capture.
Why don't
unless
you-
it does really well the first season, and
Oh,
then
then
they'll
the next
start
season.
spending a lot
They
more
might
money
they
on
might do
I
it
hope
where
so.
they might do like a first season where it's like just his journey to find Princess Zelda.
Yeah,
and
just make it
they
a
don't
long,
show
a
anything.
long arc. Please make it a long arc.
But they don't show anything like any of the main villains. Who's the main villain of Zelda?
Ganon.
Again.
Gammon. They don't show him until like season 2 when they see that it's like it's
a
a
dark
profitable
shadow,
movie
yeah.
and they can like
Yeah, because they have
Invest
people
the money.
who are the Ganon's usually the bad guy behind the bad guy. You just have wizards kidnapping stuff, and you
Other
find out later
villains
other
and
villains.
temples.
Like
I
the
wonder
Mandarin
if
in
they're
Iron
gonna
Man
add
3?
that into the series, like him going to
yeah.
different temples each. You know,
Cliffhangers and stuff.
Yeah.
That's what I want.
okay. What's number 2? We're on 2 right now.
We're on 3.
we're
Oh,
on
2.
Yeah,
We're on 2.
two.
And thing is, they're talking about Marvel is talking about canceling and killing off comic book characters they do not own movie rights to,
Which is far fetched, but
it's a little paranoid, comic paranoid. But
this
That's
is
crazy.
comic book conspiracy theory.
I've been
101.
hearing about this from a lot of places because
reputable
Wolverine's
sources.
yes,
Okay.
Wolverine's been dead already. It's official.
Wolverine and anybody in Marvel's died like a million times.
Yeah, but that's Wolverine's the biggest comic book character. You know, you got Superman, Batman. For Marvel, he's in
Kill
everything.
the main guy.
The main guy, but he's in movies. They don't want to basically sponsor and have like press for characters that they can't make that movie money off of.
It makes sense because there's like the
It's-
statistic that comic book fans aren't really a majority to the comic book movie.
Yeah, they don't want to put Marvel money, like have a billboard for something they can't make a movie out of. Which they're already, it's official. They're ending the series on Fantastic Four. That's one of their big ones.
But that's actually not one of their big ones. They did a poll. Comixology did a poll in the month of January or the month of December. I can't remember when, but only 250,000 copies of Fantastic Four were sold.
Yeah, I don't know anyone that reads Fantastic Four.
So
I don't know anyone either.
that could be.
But it's a Granddaddy comic,
release.
that's- yeah.
They'll probably cancel this run they're on, and if this is true,
It's suspicious.
then
Yes.
it's. But they just canceled She-Hulk too because her run wasn't doing so well.
Yeah, but I don't know anyone who reads She-Hulk. But they're also talking about killing off Deadpool too, and also, which I'm a huge Deadpool fan. Been reading for years, but they're talking about doing that, and also with the Inhuman problem that's going on Earth, they're talking about being the new mutants.
Well, this is where I have to put in my 2 cents. We all know that Inhumans is coming to the big screen in 2017 or 18. I can't remember when.
It's 18.
18, yeah. The what I've always felt that Marvel should do, since they don't have the rights to the mutant characters, and they apparently only have Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch,
I have something to add to that too.
make them Inhumans.
They are.
Yeah, and then this whole thing that whatever the what are they called? The Hydra subsection that is the Baron von Strucker or whatever his name is. He's the leader of Hydra's secret.
AIM?
Not AIM. I don't remember what they're called and what it's called. They did it at the end of the Captain America Winter Soldier, the end credit scene. But anyway,
Yeah.
they make an entire like subspecies of Inhumans, and Inhumans are Marvel Studios answer to mutants.
It's their mutants.
And
X-Men.
from what you're saying, it sounds like they're gonna kill off all the mutants, which wouldn't be so smart for like fan reasons.
They already done it. They killed off
Yeah,
mutants for a while.
they kill off everybody. But my point is, just create new characters, call them Inhumans, but give them basically similar powers to mutants.
Ms. Marvel. They just did a new Ms. Marvel where she's an Inhuman.
But I thought Miss Marvel had like
She's
the powers
Captain
of a god
Marvel now.
or of a
She's-
space god or something like that.
She has it's not Shi'ar, it's it's Kree. She has Kree DNA in her, so she can fly and she can absorb energy and shoot it out. But she calls Captain Marvel now for the Captain Marvel who sacrificed himself to save her. She's honoring him. So yeah, they have a new Ms. Marvel. She's a teenage girl and she's an Inhuman. Because basically, Inhumans are people who millions of years ago or thousands of years ago, their DNA was changed by these godlike beings that came to Earth, and now they look human. They live in space
On the moon, right? On the moon.
close to the moon, and
Moonwalkers.
moonwalkers. Yes. So when they get introduced to this special kind of gas, they turn into go into an egg, a cocoon-like egg. And sometimes it doesn't have an effect on them. Sometimes it is visual. Sometimes it's not. But this gas escaped when their whole city crashed onto Earth. I think it was last year, a couple months ago. So this gas escaped, and there are regular people with that DNA in them who are just breathing in the gas. And there's been eggs and Inhumans popping up all over the place. Basically, just replacing all the mutants that were taken away from Marvel a while ago.
Didn't Marvel just do that whole thing a couple years ago where Scarlet Witch
That was it. They
basically wiped out all mutants?
Yeah. And
Oh
that's,
my goodness.
Stripped them of their powers. Depowered them or something. Not killed them, just...
yeah,
like,
so I don't know how long this has been talking about. Maybe because
It sounds
It sounds
plausible in a
plausible,
way
yes.
because they
Not
can't
official,
make movies,
but-
but at the same time, I mean, I know the comic book fan base doesn't make up a big majority of the general audience that go see these big budget comic book movies, which pisses a lot of comic book fans off. They're like, "What do you mean we're
Wait,
not
this
the
is our
majority?"
stuff.
Like,
Wait, this is from our stuff.
yeah, I mean, it's dear to them. It is
Yeah.
dear to them. I understand where this protection comes from, like not wanting the comics they grew up on that probably helped them through a lot of crap being canceled by Marvel. So
Yeah,
I kind
I
of hope
hope
it's
that.
not real, but at the same time, it makes sense
money-wise. but
money-wise,
that's-
especially since, let's just face it, the comic book profits aren't what they used to be or ever have been, probably.
they've been
They
better.
kind of spike every now and then. I was talking to the local comic book guy. He says he thought he was gonna, when he opened up a shop here, he thought he was only gonna last 6 months, and he's been here already 3
Yeah,
years.
the movies have been helping.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
He says they help a little bit, but it's still not like
you ain't getting that money. Yeah,
he's not selling 1 million copies of Batman every month.
I know. Read more comics, kids.
It's not
Read
something
your comics. Save.
slammed.
This is Marvel's way of telling you, you don't read our crap, we're just gonna cancel it.
Yeah.
So read it. Read
So
it.
that's a rumor. I'm hoping it's not true.
Yeah, rumor.
But
Preface that it is a rumor.
So
We'll
True.
see. Time will tell.
yeah,
And-
time will tell.
Number one story
Number
of
one
January.
is Spider-Man might return back to Marvel.
And this is a story I read up on. It's a rumor, not fact, but it's from a reputable source, Latino Review, who has a record of
They have a
being
good
on
record.
track. They have a good record. They have a good record with stories. And the only reason this is even a plausible rumor is because it's been coming from multiple sources for the same story. It's not like, the whole... I can't think of one off the top of my head, but there's a couple rumors.
They knew Ben Affleck. They picked Ben Affleck as Batman.
Yeah.
No, I'm like way back in the day.
Yeah, that's true. But anyway, it's not like one of those rumors that get spread around that, like, say, for example, Thanos is Thor's dad is not Thor. Thanos is Hulk's dad, and it goes like through different like sub channels of Rumorville where it just changes to where it ends up being Thanos is Hulk's brother.
Like, it just
where it
changes. They're playing
like, it
telephone.
changes, yeah.
They're playing telephone with it.
Yeah, it's like childhood, like whisper into your friend's ear, like, and then it gets here. Like I say, hey, tell William he's not cool, and it turns out it goes to everyone, and it's like, and it
Turns
gets
out,
to
yeah,
William.
cool.
Williams Link? What? That's what
Yeah.
it turned
Williams Link.
I'm casted
Williams.
in the new Netflix episode.
Yes.
Thank you.
Anyway, but the rumor is, the basic rumor is that the thought is that after the whole Sony situation with Amazing Spider-Man 2 not doing as well as they thought, it still made money, but it didn't do.
I thought it was one of the best comic book to movies.
I know
Spider-Man movies.
I don't know what you were smoking, but anyway, it didn't please fans. This is basically what I'm saying. It didn't please a majority of fans to make them be like to go because they were projecting that movie to make $1 billion, and it clearly didn't get close to making $1 billion because it wasn't repeatable. That's how they track it. Is if they keep going back to it. Like the first Avengers, the reason why it broke $1 billion is because everybody went back and saw
Of course,
it like
we're
multiple
waiting
times.
for that movie.
I'm
for
going to see Avengers: Age of
years.
Ultron like probably 3 times, even if it sucks.
Yeah.
Just to hear Ultron. But anyway, the
Spider-Man.
thinking is everything that happened with the Sony hacks and everything, the Spidey Summit. Sony is hurting financially, and their most profitable property is Spider-Man.
It's actually what happened to Marvel in the early '90s.
Yeah,
had
they
to
were
sell
selling.
off.
They sold off everything. They barely got most of the rights back. The only ones they had were Iron Man, Thor, Captain America.
Indian
the ones
giving Spider-Man back.
Yeah, the only ones that nobody had made movies of. But anyway, the reason why I'm the reason why I'm giving this some thought and hope is because it's not like he's going to be in the next Avengers or he's not going to be in Captain America. Everyone's been saying, "Oh, Spider-Man's going to be in Captain America's Civil War."
No.
He's going to show up in the after credits. What they're thinking is if the deal went through with Sony, they were going to not loan out Spider-Man, but sell Spider-Man back to Marvel for cheap because they are hurting financially.
And they got that Disney money now too.
And they got that Disney money. I mean, you kidding me? They bought Star Wars. Of course they can afford Spider-Man. And he's going to show up in Avengers Infinity War Part 2 as like, not a cameo, and then maybe a cameo or maybe a central character. And then after that, he is going to have his first standalone movie, and it's not going to be Andrew Garfield. They're going to reboot the character.
I like Andrew Garfield. He looked like Peter Parker.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's the only way they can go clean is just to reboot the character again for the 5th time. And he's going to be in Phase 4 of Marvel's cinematic universe.
Oh yeah,
I mean, it sounds.
that's like way down the road. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, it's like they're not going to be done with Phase 3 until 2019. So the next they could still make the next Spider-Man movie, Spider-Man 3, through Sony. It could bomb, and then they'll have no choice to sell it, and this
wanna
plan
watch
can
it.
still go through.
Yeah,
Because
like, take Spider-Man.
yeah, because the way I see it, they haven't even started writing the script for Infinity War Part 1 or 2 yet. So that's why I kind of find it hard to believe they haven't even started writing the script. How can they plan for Spider-Man to be in it? But my thinking is they're going to wait, see what Sony plans to do with the character, and if Sony decides, it's just the way I see it. If Disney buys Sony, then we have no problem because they then in turn buy the rights back to.
That's a lot to
Spider-Man.
go just for Spider-Man now.
Like I said, they're hurting financially. I mean,
Yeah, but to buy
they're
the
only
whole-
profitable. They could. It happens. Companies merge all the time.
I guess.
if they're hurting bad
PlayStation
enough,
5
yeah.
sponsored by Disney.
Yeah, basically. If they're hurting bad
Wow.
enough, and Disney approaches them with an offer to buy their film section, not just their film studio, not everything, not Sony as the entire company, but if they just come and offer to merge Sony with Disney for let's say amount,
An amount.
$10 billion, $100 billion. Anyway, probably anywhere between 20 to 30 billion they can merge, maybe less, depending on how bad they're hurting. And in turn, Disney absorbs any film rights that Sony has, which includes Spider-Man. So Spider-Man would then go back to the fray.
I guess. Yeah, good.
Okay.